Hey guys, this is Mage Class Wars Finals for March 2016. Sorry this video is coming out so late, but I was prioritizing the patch 5.6 videos, so there's more of those to come, but I wanted to get this out. A lot of people have been asking me about it. There, I wasn't able to change my kit, I wasn't able to pot up, so this Class Wars was just a complete nightmare. I decided to go this route, go with the single target hit, since Ray doesn't have a kit on, and since I, had Wind Ranger on from I don't know what, but I wasn't able to switch to my Battle Oracle, and I missed the first round because there were login issues, so a lot of people, pretty much everybody in my guild at some point gets kicked out during all of this, because the Kabam servers, just flopped. I think it's actually the R2 servers, anything, whatever, the R2 hosting, it's all self-published from R2, and my guess is that, there were some problems there. There, I flashed over to the test server, but I'm not going to be showing my test server fights. They're not terribly interesting. So here up against Ray with no pots and the wrong kid and all that. The kid, not a huge deal, but the Centauria would have been nice to have from the Battle Oracle since Ray is hitting pretty hard, and a little bit of healing would be nice. Obviously, with the arcane talents for the mages, we're pretty much like archers now, like really bad archers too. so we're kind of in that situation. I think I would lose to Ray regardless, so whatever setup I had here, it's not going to go over well with her troops. With Ray, really what I need is a lot of defensive stuff, so I need really big dimensions, and I need to be set up a little bit differently, and just protecting against her is so difficult right now, just because you're spread so thin with the resistances. So really what I should have done is just protected against wind, fire, and electro here, and that's not really what I did. I spread out my resistances. I'll have the tune overview out as well. I did record all of that stuff. I'm just behind right now, lots of videos out, so at least lots of content getting out, which is always good. So anyway, just a lot of confusion there. I think I got everything set up now. I'm potted at least, and at least for now I'm in the game, but I do have another disconnection coming up. So yeah, so this Class Wars was just a total wipe. It was terrible, but I at least have some good fights, and I want to show other people doing a really nice job. I've had my run in Class Wars where I'm at the top, and there are really some other players who are doing a good job and making their way up. So that'd be good. Here we have Zeke, and he's using Frigga, which is interesting. Not the choice I'd go, but I think maybe people do this because nobody brings water resistance, but I really think Frigga doesn't do much just because the MDef is so high, so everybody pumps up their MDef while they're pumping up their attack stats for the mages, so the MDef is very high, and you don't need a lot of resistances to make defending against Frigga very easy. And here, I used Aquilon's Blessing more in this Class Wars just because I thought the defensive aspect was more important this time around. Last month I didn't really use it much, and not the time before that either. But here, for whatever reason, it helps. So I was trying to recover a little bit because there were a couple people on the test server that I would have tough fights against, but every time I tried to make that happen, I just ruined something. So I wasn't able to do much there. I ended up just getting third, and that's like third place out of 10 characters at most. So saying I got third place on the test server is not saying much. Here up against Kuta, and this ends up being just frustrating. Kuta, she's definitely making her way up, but is for sure somebody I should beat, and I end up getting a disconnection here. So I cast that skill, and I think right here I'm not able to do much anymore. So I get stuck, and I think, what's going on, and then I realize that the game's just disconnected. So here I get back in. Everybody starts filing back into the server. So we're okay now. But Here I'm up against Darkmere, who's actually one of my guildies. So it's been a really, really long time since I've faced a guildie in Warlord's Hall of Class Wars. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean a really, really long time. And so here's Darkmere. I've fought him in BG, and it was much, closer. I think in this setting he's either unfamiliar or just not holding up as well, because I seem to be hitting very hard, so he might not have protected against wind very much. We'll see. Let's see how much resistance he has once I hit him. So damage plus 48%, so he has like no, that's not much wind resistance. It's not a good place to be in. I think, yeah, so I'm assuming it's just wind resistance here. Was that a deflect or something? He did hit pretty hard, so I was close to dead. But now that he's out of Sylph mode, he's in a bit of trouble. I'm definitely going to be hitting even harder. It might just be that the reduce res from the talents for Knighthood is so ridiculous that it doesn't really matter. Everybody's going to get hit hard, which is definitely at least somewhat the case. Right now, Feelendale is actually in the lead, and I'm facing him. And so this is something we've seen quite a bit of. I mentioned it in prelims, but quite a few people end up bringing Knight Kids, which I think is really smart. It's not something I'm going to be doing anytime soon, mostly because I don't want to have to build up a Knight Kid. But I mean, mine actually might have like level 3 skills just from how the skill books worked in the past. But that Rage Steal is very, very nasty. You know, Rage is very precious to mages now, so it's a very good idea. And here, I couldn't believe that stun actually worked. It's so rare that stun actually stuns someone, and so I was rather impressed. So here, just trying to use the Mage skills. Feelendale also brings Frigga, which I think is, again, sort of surprising, but is hitting quite hard. I have a small damage reduction, nothing too crazy. My runes are blocked. Not much I can do here. I think after this fight I changed things up, and I actually put a heal on my Frigga very early, because I am getting into Sylph mode and being low on HP. Again, because of the way these skills are set up, it's pretty unpleasant. So here Ice is doing the typical deal for a lot of people who have Thor. You know, we saw Feelendale also do this, which is use, what's it called? Using Lightbringer to go into Sylph mode early, but I think it's most typical to see that with people who bring Thor. With Thor, it's particularly potent because if you get into Sylph mode early, your opponent won't have their Sylph troops, and so the single target aspect of Thor, the disadvantage of only hitting one target, is not as big of a deal if I'm not in Sylph mode yet. But there I had my Guardian rune when Ice was using Roaring Lion, which was very, very good. So I'm protected, and then that one I managed to survive and get my heal rune out, so I am in good shape now. So this is one of very, very few fights where I'm up against a Thor and things are going my way. Usually it's a total... it's pretty bad, put it that way. Particularly in this class wars, for whatever reason. Not holding up against them well, and I think it's hard. You know, the Thors are so big, and if you play them right, you can just destroy any defenses that your opponent has, so there's definitely at least given Thor more credit since Knighthood came out. So Feelendale still in the lead, up against Chili now. Chili I was lasting a bit in prelims. I was holding up a bit better than usual, but he's still absolutely enormous, and his attack stat is totally outrageous. I think he has max tattoos, and I think they're all put into intel, so he's hitting so hard. Like, I'm amazed that Panda's still alive. Like, I don't know how Panda didn't just die immediately. The one good thing about this, the about Hell's Requiem, which is the AoE Delphic for me, is that it does reduce the amount of damage that your opponent deals. So that's a little bit of help. The passive that's listed on the skill itself is incorrect. It says that it increases the damage that your opponent takes, but it's actually a decreased damage dealt. It's not holding up there, and his Frigga troop actually just hit me pretty hard, which I thought was sort of incredible. There, definitely got a little help from setting up my Frigga differently, so I was glad I made that adjustment. So obviously against Chile it doesn't really matter, I'm going to lose anyway, but it was at least proof of concept for me that putting that heal out early is helpful, just because I am taking a lot of early damage against these people. You know, Chile has Odin, which I'm surprised to see, but against the people who have like Thor and stuff, it's probably better to have that heal early and to make sure that I'm healthy. So that's, I think, one of 3 Whitleys. So have a few buys. There's a couple of people that didn't show up, or they're just login issues. Obviously, I was having login issues once, and then I got kicked out another time. So it's just a shifty day. And here up against Shay, he's doing really, really well. Shay's been looking really good since Knighthood came along. He sort of made a push for the merge sylphs, clearly. So he has Thor now, and he has a Freya, and he got all of this stuff from Sacred Tree. So I don't know how many Balins he put into it. I imagine still quite a bit. I don't think he's one of the people who just got lucky just by doing almost nothing. Most of the people who get a lot of stuff from Tree are still making out better than the people who actually paid for the merge cost. At least now. Previously that probably wasn't the case, but at least for now, they're doing well. And there he gets a huge Thor hit and wipes me out. So he's doing quite well. He had some of the login issues that I did, at least early on, and then he also got the kick out. But whatever fights he had, I guess there were ones either that he would lose anyway. He was faring much better on a scoreboard, and he's also well, he's definitely just beating people that I'm not tonight. So I don't like losing to Shay by any stretch of the imagination, but he is just looking stronger than I am at the moment. I think player stat wise maybe I'm okay, but Knighthood talents and stuff, I'm definitely at a disadvantage against him. He has like 30 plus Knighthood talents. I have, in this video I have 23, and I think just today, or last night, I added on one more for Chaos War. So got one more talent's not really gonna do much, but you know, progress. So there, Asher taking the Thor sort of strategy, the same one as Shay and Ice, and yeah. So I mean, Thor, it ends up working out really, really well here. and I think Robin was saying to drop into Warriors Hall, and she's playing Mikey in Warriors Hall. She does really, really well on Mikey. Mikey was like 26th in BR or something, and ends up getting second place in Warriors Hall. So she's there's no doubt in my mind that Robin has some of the best PvP play out of the bunch, but at the moment I think she just gets outcashed so much that it's a little bit hard to prove to people. But yeah, so there's no way I can justify going into Warriors Hall for Class Wars. For Titan War, I think it's more pleasant for the team and everything, and so we had a good time there. Dropping to Warriors Hall for Titan War, but in Class Wars, I think I still have my pride enough that I need to play in Warlords Hall and make a go of it. A few more rounds, I think 3 to go, and one of them is a Whitley. I think this is the second one. So actually, toward the end, my draw gets a lot easier. So a lot of the getting beaten up happens early and in the middle. And here we have a tie between Chile and Feelendale. And now I got Onslaught. I got Onslaught a couple times in prelims. Happy to see him here, though. I think he might have been in Warlords Hall before. Not totally sure. We did lose more people to one of the other crossover sections, so I mean it's increasingly getting easier to get into Warlord's Hall, if you want to call it easy. It's still all cashers. So Onslaught's into Sylph mode early, using Lightbringer. That's not all bad, because, you know, when they get into Sylph mode that early, and I might still have Hell's Requiem, so I can use Hell's Requiem on their Sylph troops. So that's just one extra AoE, it's a little more damage. But I mean, Wind Sylphs are so great for AoEs that, I mean, if you need a Sylph to clear the troops, Wind is definitely up there with the best. It's quite the outfit. Oh, almost had him. Steel should do it. And there we are. So previously I had both steals on my Friggas on early. Once I switched to having the heal at the beginning, I realized that was better, because I have a steal on my Goddess Prosperity, so I shouldn't just dump all my steals, like all 3 steals at the beginning. So it's better to spread them out a little bit. If my Frigga lives, but okay. But anyway, that's all 15 rounds. I got a couple Whitleys towards the end, and it was a rough time. But Chili takes first, I think. Maybe? Yeah, so he still does eke out by BR. Philandel having a really nice show there. His first time in top 3, I think. And he manages second. And then Asher coming up in third, beating out Shay by BR. And Shay doing really quite well. So Shay actually has performed better than this. I think he's gotten third before a couple of times. So that's very good. Ray coming up in 5th, and myself coming up in 6th with 8 wins, eking out Ice by BR. But I think had I not had disconnections, I would have had a couple more wins and would have placed 6th anyway. 2 more wins would not put me ahead of Ray, and so I'm 6th place really regardless of everything that happened. And so I'm sort of relieved that rankings didn't really change because of the disconnections, just because I think that adds on unnecessary frustration, and so yeah, so there we are. And yeah, so it's a rough month. I think personally I'm just dropping down to a caliber of tune that's not competitive for first place. I'm still competitive in Warlord's Hall, but I think I'm moving to the middle of the pack, and I haven't been recharging, so you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I have Balins at the moment that I could use, but not enough where it's gonna make a huge impact. So we'll see. But anyway, I still enjoyed myself for the most part once I actually could get fighting, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Probably more to come. I have a tune overview. I haven't been able to download Mr. Strife's Class Wars footage. He did record it, and I'm just having some trouble getting it. So I'm not sure we're going to see any of the other classes videos, but we'll see. I'll try and get some stuff out. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and have a very good day.